congratulate you first of all on such a good job on MCC marketing. I was able to share your ideas with the MCC marketing team, and they really appreciated hearing from students what you think they could do to improve the marketing of this college. Most of us really love MCC and would like for it to be more open and reaching out more, and that includes the marketing staff, but sometimes you just get so busy doing your job that you forget to ask the students who are really our customers. So good job on that. I really appreciate your help, and I appreciate your willingness to share with the MCC. Today we're going to be talking about products. We talked about products last week. The product is the absolute foundation of all marketing efforts, because until we know what we are marketing, it's really almost impossible to plan anything else. Because if you're marketing a ritzy restaurant, your marketing approach and your pricing and even the way you get things, bring your customers in, is going to be entirely different from if you are selling a tote the note used car lot. So we're going to be talking this week about two different things. One is the new product process, how you are able to develop a product from start to finish. It's not always easy. For instance, most of you are familiar with potato chips in one way or the other. And potato chips really they came about several years ago, in fact more than 100 years ago, when a very wealthy patron at a classy New York restaurant sent his potatoes back because they weren't thin and crispy enough. And this just enraged the chef. He said, "I will show him thin and crispy," and proceeded to cut the potato chips in very, very thin, almost paper-thin layers, and fry them in oil. He wanted to insult the patron because at that time it was an insult to eat, which nobody ate with their hands, and especially a well-bred gentleman like this was. But in fact, he loved the potato chips, and everybody else wanted them. Unfortunately, this chef did not bother to patent them, and so the world went crazy over something that he invented, and he died a poor man. Pringles. Most of you are familiar with Pringles. Procter & Gamble developed Pringles several years ago, in the late 60s. But the person who worked on Pringles, who had invented the concept, worked on it for more than 10 years. And he started by asking customers, what do they not like about potato chips? And they said, we don't like that they break, and we don't like that they're greasy. And so that's where he started. He first thought of the package. How could he create a package that would keep them from being broken and greasy? And he actually worked with a tennis ball can. Then he proceeded to make a dough out of dried potato flour and water, and roll it in a very thin sheet, but shape it and bake it. It created war. They were so popular that it created an instant war and took it all the way to the Supreme Court. Before it was declared that they were not actually potato chips, they would have to put in very thin layers, very thin letters, that they were made from dried potato flakes. But they still remain one of the most popular chips today worldwide. And they have something like about 100 different flavors. In Japan, for instance, they have fish and squid flavors. They have curry and other kinds of flavors, and they've recently released 3 holiday flavors in the United States. One is white chocolate peppermint, one is pumpkin pie spice, and the third one is cinnamon and brown sugar. What do you think? Do you think it'll work? Because we're so used to savory, barbecue, spicy flavors of potato chips that this is really something entirely different. So that is our new product. I want you to think of all the clients we have had: Six Flags, Geno's Pizza, Barry's Bags, and some of those, and come up with a way to give them an idea for a new product. It doesn't have to be new to the world, but a way they can change or adjust somehow their product. That is their job, your job task. Our creative meeting centers on helping our client, James Cook, get ideas for his new restaurant. He is a lifelong cook. He's always loved to cook, and his lifelong dream has been to create a restaurant. He's purchased one from an older couple who's decided to retire. He has asked our help and created a team of mystery shoppers who can go out into various restaurants in the community and get an idea of what successful restaurants are doing well and what at restaurants that do not seem to be doing well or doing wrong, so he can avoid those. So that'll be our creative meeting for you to visit about. Finally, in our chit chat, I would like you to tell me a little bit about a nonprofit agency in which you're involved. You might be a client, or you might sit on the board, or you might be a volunteer. For instance, I do some volunteer work with Compassion Ministries, and I sat on their board for about 7 years. They are a transitional shelter of housing for women and families and single women. If a family is homeless, they can come to the Compassion Ministries and rent an apartment for as long as 6 months. It also requires being drug-free. It requires having a clean criminal record. It requires going through our program, getting a full-time job, and paying rent. If you can complete the program, you can receive part of what you paid in rent as money that you can use for deposits. It's an excellent way to get back on your feet when you're coming from either a homeless situation or other kinds of distress. So think about a nonprofit agency that you've been involved with. Tell us a little bit about that and tell us who are their targets, because nonprofits have different targets. They usually have two, the people that they serve, but they also target donors and volunteers, because without those people and that money, they wouldn't be able to serve their clients. Finally, I've posted your midterm exam. You're going to have 2 tests this semester. The first one will be going up tomorrow morning at midnight, and it will be up for about 2 weeks, so you have plenty of time to take it. Of course, it's an open book test, and it covers chapters 1 through 11. So I hope that you will be able to take it. I hope you'll have fun, and it covers 1 through 9. So we've already gone through that, but this gives you a little bit of chance to go back and review. And again, thank you for your interest and your help, and you are doing a great job, and I'll see you next week.